Hi, I'm Miranda Horton.
Hi, I'm Abigail Peterson, and we are presenting marine ecosystem loss on the Pacific Coast. Our group is Marine Ecosystems.
Across the Pacific coast of the United States, human activity throughout the 20th and 21st centuries has depleted a swath of crucial fish stocks, which has in turn jeopardized further species reliant upon the ecosystem services fish provide, such as the critically endangered southern resident killer whales. Our poster explores the dimensions of this cascading collapse of marine life, from its origins in overfishing and unsustainable damming to its ramifications, because as coastal ecosystems diminish, they extend their plight across the social, economic, and environmental systems reliant upon the once bountiful waters of America's west coast.
Um, so some of the direct causes of marine ecosystem loss are overfishing that depletes stocks, dams that obstruct migrations, and don't allow species to get to their natural breeding and hatching grounds, and runoff and other pollution, especially chemical pollution that can bioaccumulate and make its way up the food chain. Indirect causes are inhospitably warm water due to climate change, which can affect habitat loss and make species go to different spots than they're used to, which has its own dangers. Ocean acidification, which affects creatures at the very bottom of the food chain, which of course makes its way up and causes a food scarcity. Habitat loss from hydrological developments, especially hydropower and other dams and related developments. This is especially a problem here in the Pacific Northwest because we get a lot of our power from hydropower. Um, and then the loss of these key fish stocks that are harmed by all of these causes harm dependent species that rely on them for food, and this destabilizes and deteriorates entire ecosystems.
So, all of these create many different impacts under three dimensions: social, economic, and environmental. Under the social dimension, the impacts include the loss of fish, which is an important food and cultural symbol for indigenous tribes. And many Californian tribes, such as the Yurok tribe, have been forced to adhere to fishing quotas in order to allow for the fishing populations to bounce back. And under the economic impacts, there's been a loss of $34 million in ecotourism because many animals, such as the orcas, which many people like to see through like whale watching tours, have been decreasing. So many people can't go on ecotourism as much. And additionally, there's the collapse of commercial fisheries due to the loss of fish in the ocean. So, for example, there was the collapse of the fishery at Monterey Bay. That fishery was closed for several years due to the rapid decrease of sardines. And then under environmental impacts, the lack of salmon means that there's a lack of nutrients circulating in the ecosystem. And there's been a loss of biodiversity of fish and other predatory species that rely on these key fish populations, which causes a food web collapse because the predator populations decrease from a lack of food, and then prey populations increase from a lack of predators.
The solutions we outline to this crisis facing marine life on the Pacific coast are twofold. First, we need to directly combat the factors directly responsible for the fish stocks. So that's regulation against pollutants that are currently contaminating the ocean, policy that prevents unsustainable overfishing, and demolition of harmful dams such as the four Lower Snake River dams in Washington, which will enable currently obstruction migration of fish such as salmon that spawn in fresh water. And that ties into the second category of solutions, which is recovering already inflicted losses. And so, as part of that, we need to invest in captive breeding programs and restore damaged ecosystems in the ocean and in rivers, allowing the damage that's already been inflicted to fish stocks to recover. And in turn, the other species, orcas, dolphins, that rely on these fish can recover, and we can thus restore the currently threatened ecosystems along the Pacific coast, solving the crisis.